Hi students, this is the weekly work for February 25th through March 1st. You're going to be using this video to fill in the week's daily logs and take notes. This week's objective, we're going to continue to look at literary devices as a way to analyze text, and we're going to be writing clear and focused response to literature essays. This is the last type of essay before the Casey. This week's vocabulary, we have flashback, which is a break in the story structure to go back in time. Foreshadowing is when we hint at future events to come. A metaphor is when you compare two things without using like or as. Simile is a comparison using like or as. Setting is where the story takes place. Imagery is using all the senses to describe something, so the way taste, sound, smell. Symbolism is when items in the story stand for greater ideas. Personification is when we give human characteristics to non-human things. Tone is the author's attitude towards the piece. The author uses loaded language and their story structure in order to show their tone. And mood is the overall feeling that the text has. Pause here if you need more time. This week's assignments. Monday, your daily log is due. This I'm going to be checking, and your vocab list 3 is due. We're going to be reviewing pages 94 to 104 and creating vocab list 4, which is going to be due Thursday. Tuesday, you have a CSA literary elements quiz. This is chapters 4 and 5. This is what we've been working on for the last couple weeks. You'll also have an opportunity to retake your reading comprehension quiz. These are the quizzes that I gave back Tuesday. And if you didn't like your score, you'll have an opportunity to retake it. Also, we'll be working on your vocab list 4. In class on Wednesday, we're going to be practicing our response to literature essay, and you're going to have a writing mini lesson video. Thursday, vocab list 4 is going to be due, and you're going to have another practice response to literature essay in class. And then you'll do a writing mini lesson video. If you didn't do it on Wednesday night, you'll do it Thursday night. The daily log with the writing mini lesson notes will be due Friday. In class on Friday, you're going to do a literary analysis final essay, and your homework will be to watch the weekly work video and take notes. Pause here if you need more time with this. Set a goal for yourself this week. There are 12 more days until the Casey. Your goal might reflect that. You also have this week and next week before the end of the quarter. All grades are going to be, or all work is going to be due March 8th. So this is something to remember. So that might be a goal for you. It might be to make up any missing work, or continue to prepare for the Casey, or go to the Saturday tutoring sessions. Your mini lesson today is on theme, which is chapter 5. A handful of you talked about how you don't know much about theme and you want more review, so I went ahead and did this based on that. Literary themes. Themes are commonly found in literature. A theme can be found everywhere, in literature, stories, art, movies. Themes are really a difficult concept. They can be a moral. So you could ask yourself when you're reading something, what is the story teaching me? Sometimes, though, more complex stories aren't just morals. They're this underlying meaning, a universal truth. The theme of Romeo and Juliet is about how love can surpass the sense of this fighting. That's not necessarily a moral that we want to walk away with and learn, but it's this universal truth that we want to accept. It's a significant statement the story is making about society or human nature. It's the big idea that the author's not just writing to tell about a character. They're writing to give a big idea, a big statement. Again, it's a universal truth. It's usually something everyone goes through, a statement or a lesson about life. This is something you really want to write down. This definition, that it's usually something that everyone goes through. It's a statement or a lesson about life. It can be kind of all of those things. It can be some of those things. It can be one of those. The theme expresses the author's opinion or raises a question about human nature or the meaning of the human experience. The themes may not agree with your own belief. So even if it has to be, it's going to be well written, you might have a theme that's shown to you that you don't necessarily think is true. The purpose of the theme is to give us a greater understanding of life. We don't just read these stories for the sake of reading. We read them so that we can have this greater understanding about what life means. Theme is also tied to the type of conflict in the story. The theme never completely explains the whole story. There's more things. There might be multiple themes, secondary themes. Some common literary themes. The quest for immortality. Especially when we were reading the Greeks and Romans last year, we really looked at, there's this idea that they want to become a god. In Zeus's story about killing his father Cronus, he has this quest for immortality. In Hercules' story, he has a quest for immortality. It can also be about the individual's relationship and obligation to society, trying to work for society. Think about the video Louder Than a Bomb with the students. Their relationship with society, the society around them, is sometimes a really tough life, but they've reacted to it using their art. This is the human versus society. So the conflict, man versus society, relates to the theme. The individual's inner journey to understand himself or herself's identity. Think about Melinda in Speak. Her conflict is her versus herself. She's trying to understand herself and try to deal with herself and deal with the emotions inside of herself. This is her journey, and that's a theme. It could be the relationship to the natural world. You're going to read a story next year about a man who it's snowing and he's cold and he's just trying to, it's called To Build a Fire, just trying to struggle through surviving in the natural world. It's man versus nature. How justice and injustice are decided. Our next novel will deal with justice and injustices in the world and who decides what's just and what's unjust. The individual is a hero, what it means to be a hero or anti-hero. So, for instance, when we read Odysseus last year in the Odyssey, or read about Odysseus in the Odyssey, he's a sort of hero. He's a hero because he's smart and because he believes in his family and because he keeps overcoming these obstacles. This is a theme. What it means to be a survivor. In Night, Ellie is a survivor. And what does that mean? What did it take him to survive? The individual's experience of alienation, loneliness, and despair. Melinda has this alienation away from the people around her. She's lonely and desperate. The artist's relationship and obligation to society. In Louder Than a Bomb, the students felt this obligation to get their words out, to share their art with society. And what the world holds for the future. Kind of what will the future look like? And then one of the most popular ones is love. There's all types of love. Friend love, love of country, admiration, possessiveness, physical love, romance, logical types of love, self-centered love, game playing, unrequited love, godly love, familial love, infatuation, jealousy. And then there's the role of the institution. Sometimes it's called man versus institution. Think about, some of you read The Giver last year. He starts to learn about his society and decides that he doesn't necessarily agree with it. This is him versus the institution. More themes include bravery, friendship, greed, loyalty, war, honesty, kindness. There are endless amounts of themes. And how a theme works is we take the main idea of the story, this kind of main thing that happened. Ellie survived the Holocaust because of his determination. And then we put it into more general terms. Determination can drive survival. For instance, in Of Mice and Men, if those of you that read it with me last year, this idea that they have their friendship bonds them. And the idea of that a bond can be a really great thing. In Melinda in Speak, some event caused her alienation. How sometimes an event and our self-destructive nature can alienate us from the people around us. So they're universal truths, so we try to seek out of stories. All these are creative. You want to come up with, these themes. It's flexible, but it's kind of what you think the author is trying to they're trying to make at us. The author's writing to try to prove something to us. What are they trying to prove? If you have any questions about literary themes, write them at the bottom of your notes. This is something that's really important for you to know for the Casey, but also moving into the 11th grade year is full of literature. And one of the things that they really look at is the theme. Why is the author writing this? What is the universal truth they are trying to tell us?